that starts with me being happy within
Mhm.
myself. I think that's like a different level of prosperity that we don't talk about a
Yeah.
lot. And there are so many different types. Obviously, money, it's a tool, it's some sort of display or like a result of success. But when you talk about prosperity, for me, being able to travel different parts of the world and have, the type of love that we get for the work that I'm doing and for people genuinely like supporting and being able to wake up and do music. All of
Mhm.
these things are like blessings that I don't take for granted.
The time is now to boldly step forward, love with intensity, and embark on the journey to create the best version of yourself. Let's breach these barriers together. Hello, family. Welcome back to the BreEvolve Podcast. I'm your host, Bree. And if you are new here, we are all about unlearning things that no longer serve us and relearning some things to evolve together. We're in this together, on this journey together. Today, I'm excited to be speaking with a truly exceptional guest who embodies the characteristics of innovation, creativity, and personal growth. Joining us today is Lamont Brown, also known as Mr. Image. He is a musical artist, engineer, and activist from Washington, D.C. With over 15 years of experience in writing, producing, performing, Mr. Image has dedicated his life to using the power of music to inspire and uplift young people around the globe. Mr. Image is not only a celebrated musician, but also a trailblazer in the field of the STEAM education field. As the founder of the Swaliga Foundation he established in 2012, he has been connecting schools, businesses, and universities to improve the lives of youth through innovative STEAM programs. Combining his passion for music with his background as an architectural engineer, Mr. Image has created the STEAM the Block curriculum, which is a groundbreaking initiative designed to engage young minds in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math through the universal language of music. His unique approach has led him to pioneer a new subgenre known as the STEAM hip hop, earning him the nickname the STEAM MC. His work was featured on TEDx Mid Atlantic and has reached schools in 12 countries across 6 different continents. Mr. Image has performed at prestigious venues like the Kennedy Center, the Hippodrome Theater, and the Soweto Theater, and he has made history as the first hip hop artist to headline at the renowned Sidney Harmon Hall in Washington, D.C. In today's episode, we'll dive into his journey, his innovative approach to education, and how he continues to blend his musical talents with his commitment to making a positive impact. We'll also explore his latest projects and hear all about the upcoming 8th annual Steam the Block party, which y'all do not want to miss because I know we're going to have a good time. So go ahead and get comfortable and get ready to be inspired and motivated by this truly exceptional conversation that I was blessed to have with Lamont Mr. Image Brown. Let's go. Lamont, thank you so much for being here with me today. I truly appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Yeah, so my husband and I know you as a great person with a fantastic mission through our good friend Ashley. However, when I was doing my research, I had to dig a little deeper. And let me just tell you, you have a new music fan. I was watching the Africa tour recap and I was like, it's Swaliga, baby. I was like, oh, yes. But no, I had a great time doing all the binge listening to all your music. It was amazing.
Appreciate that. Thank you for taking the listen. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So I want to do a little icebreaker before we get started.
Okay.
Okay. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
This is always a tough question because it changes day to day.
Oh, wow.
Um, it's between so my go-to joint is like Professor X is like the mental, right? Like I would want to be like super smart, telekinetic.
Mm-hmm.
But that or super speed. And here's why. Because if you got super speed, right, that means that you could like vibrate super fast. So you get these other kind of side abilities too. Like you could be
Okay.
invisible, for example. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that comes with super speed. So I think that would probably be my superpower.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. And you can be in Africa a lot quicker too.
You feel me? You would save so much money on airfare,
Yes,
like
you're
these
always back and forth.
meetings. Just hop over there real quick. Yeah.
Yes.
So, can you share how your passion with music began and how it evolved over the years?
Yeah, so as many hip hop superstars, my passion for music started in the church actually.
Okay.
I was taking piano lessons when I was younger, like 6 years old, was like studying music, had me in piano lessons, which of course is recommended for so many reasons of just like brain development and as our kids grow and things like that. It's helpful. So I I loved music. I didn't like practicing the piano, but I did love music. And that eventually, just developed into me creating my own music, right? From learning how to play piano to then as I got a little bit older, I got my first keyboard. My folks got me a Roland Phantom, which was a pretty big deal at the time. I was still in high school. So that's when I
Mhm.
got into more like producing, production, producing my own music. But then being a part of a gospel rap group, 3 and 1, when I was younger, we were like 14 years old, like super young. But getting, paid to perform at different churches around DC and in the area, and even got to travel a few times, right? And that just kind of developed that love for music as like not only is this fun, but I can do this as a career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it started there for sure.
Okay, that's cool. I also had piano lessons. I didn't follow through though. Well, I followed through and then my parents wouldn't let me quit and they was like, "You gonna keep doing this?" So I like purposely started doing bad on my recitals and they was like, "Okay."
Oh Lord.
Yeah, now I wish I followed through with it into my adult years, but I can
Well,
always go back and learn.
I was about to say, once you got that
Yeah,
foundation, you can always pick it back up, you
yeah.
know?
So, can you explain the STEAM to Block curriculum and how it engages young people in STEAM education through music?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Yes.
So this, as we were just talking about, like music and me kind of, going from just learning how to play piano to being in a gospel rap group to then being a solo artist, right?
Mhm.
That was a whole journey. I'll give the key parts of the story. I had a record deal my senior year. The deal fell through. And I was forced to make a decision. And I was like, at the encouragement of my parents, all right, I'm gonna just go to engineering school right quick. And I decided to go to Drexel University. So I found myself there studying architectural engineering. And nobody told me how incredibly hard that was going to be because it was tough. Like academic probation, like,
Mhm.
had to retake a couple classes. Obviously, it didn't help that I was throwing parties and doing other things that were completely not on task. That didn't help either. But all that to say, it led me to finding my purpose, which was to um obviously, found the Swaliga Foundation and figure out how
Mhm.
to communicate this important information. So fast forward, I did graduate, I did get my degree 2012. Um, got my degree from Drexel in engineering, came back to my hometown, DC, and I founded the Swaliga Foundation. And I knew that I didn't want to be an engineer in the traditional sense, right? I had already worked for some different engineering companies. I think the last time I realized that I was on a construction site and I was supposed to be doing these nuclear density gauge tests for the
Mm.
foundation of the building. And they were looking for me, and I was sitting in my car writing raps, like listening to beats. I was like, yeah, I'm probably not the best for this job. But yeah, that progressed into what became known as the STEAM the Block curriculum, to answer your
Mhm.
question. So when I came back, I started Swaliga and I was just looking at ways to help. I started volunteering at the Boys and Girls Clubs right on Benning Road, Northeast,
Oh.
Clubhouse 14. And they had the studio equipment donated and nobody knew how to use it. It was just sitting there. So we started by I set up the studio, and we had teens coming in the studio. They wanted to learn how to rap, they wanted to learn how to make beats and all this cool stuff. So I was like, bet I could show y'all that. But at the same time, we're gonna be learning about physics, we're gonna be learning about calculus and all of the things that relate to everything y'all are talking about anyway. And that just kind of organically developed into this engaging curriculum. And they started bringing their friends, and before you knew it, we outgrew this little room that we were in, because everybody wanted to be a part of it, and that became known as Steam the Block, and that's like the original curricula that we use, which is basically my first year at Drexel Engineering. Like, this is my engineering um, curriculum. Some of the things that I learned, fundamental things that we're teaching kids as young as 5 years old now. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the level of intensity that we need academically in order for us to, it's not even about keeping up at this point, it's about catching up and excelling, right? Because we're way behind when we talk about math and science specifically.
Mhm.
So that's a very important part of this whole thing of why we use that approach, right?
Wow. Hearing so we can like fast forward through your story, but as you were in those like the obstacles, like you saying you academic probation, throwing the parties, like all of this, in the moments it didn't seem like it was going quickly, I'm sure. But like it's all a part of the journey that came together so beautifully. Like even if we're in those moments where it doesn't feel like we're in our purpose or it's not going anywhere, it's all a part of the journey. I love that.
That's a great point. Yeah. And in the moment, as it's happening in real time, doesn't feel like it, right? But
Yeah.
it all works to our better good, for sure.
Yeah, I was having an aha moment just listening to your story for myself. So yes.
That's awesome.
So you talked about the founding of the Swaliga Foundation. How has it evolved since the inception in 2012?
Yeah, it's gone way above and beyond what I could have ever imagined, which is great.
Yeah.
It gets to that point, right? I don't have any kids of my own yet. So like Swaliga has been that, thing that I've been pouring into, right? That I've seen go from just an idea, a thought to now we're celebrating 12 years, right?
Mm,
Like this is it's not a baby, it's not an infant anymore, and that's been
mm,
the whole point, right? It was never meant to stop with me, or
mm,
be, it's not the Brown Foundation, it's the Swaliga Foundation. And
mhm,
gotten to the point where now we're in more than 10 different countries. We have young people that are excited about Swaliga and about our mission, in different parts of the US and different parts of the world. So it's been very humbling to just kind of see it all come together and to see the impact that we've been able to make. I mean, in the past decade, we've impacted more than 10,000 youth and families, and have gotten a lot of people not only aware, but excited about STEAM education and about some of the cool things that they could do for their own future and for their family, which is dope. So,
yeah, absolutely. So as the pioneer of STEAM hip hop subgenre, how do you see the music influencing education for the younger generation? Like how
mm.
I know they're intrigued, and I feel like all the kids need this. But what do you think about it that's what is it that's bringing the kids in?
Yeah, I think music is its own language.
Mm,
And when we talk about this cultural exchange and a lot of the things we do when we travel, music is such a big part of that and how we express art and culture. So naturally, that has been a big part of our curriculum and a part of why our program has been so successful. I think it's not, that part isn't rocket science. It's, our young people love expressing themselves. They're super creative, they're super intelligent. So music is a way for them to express so many different things, and I think we need that outlet. I learned that about myself personally, right? Like, I need music as a way to be that creative outlet, and it shows up in so many other areas. So when we talk about STEAM hip hop, that's hip hop obviously as a culture, as a movement, is still, the dominant, most popular culture on the face of the earth today.
mhm,
And this new generation, these young people, as they're now coming into it and making it their own, we're seeing so many different flavors of it, right? They're
Yeah.
putting their own spin on it, which is great. That's what's supposed to happen as something grows and evolves, right?
Yeah.
And the goal, what I want to see with steam hip hop is that they use some of that same creativity, and it's really about knowledge, right? And information. Like a lot of this stuff is you can Google it, right? And I think that's the thing with educational music. I think it's easy to get lost in like regurgitating or just like reciting information.
Yeah.
But that's not really what music is, though, is it? Like music is supposed to make you feel something. Like you're
Yeah.
supposed to have some sort of emotion or connection if it's good music. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
If
Yeah.
it's if it's quality music. So that's what we're pushing with Steam the Block and this new album. And Steam Hip Hop is really just giving you the same information, but in a way that's more relatable to real life. That's meant to make you connect with it in a way that you'll remember. Like, oh yeah, um, it's so funny because as we're doing some of these activities and even playing the music, as we play it for the students all the time as we're learning, and the one of the students one time as we're doing the activity, they were like, "So when are we gonna do like the science part? Like, when is the we're just in that journey making beats, right?" And they're like having this amazing time.
I
And
love
it's that
it.
light bulb moment to where it's like, yo, we're in it. Like it's happening
Yeah.
right now, you know? But that's how you remember that, learning is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to
Yeah.
feel like, all right, now we gotta what we talking about? Science? Like what we doing today? You know what I mean? Like
Right. Like the fun is over. Okay, let's get to learning.
yeah, yeah, like for whatever reason we're taught that those are separate, but that's, been the whole goal. Make it fun. If it's fun for us, it's fun for the students, and then that's what's actually gonna have a sustainable impact, you know?
Mhm. I love that. I've never actually thought about learning as something, well, I guess in some aspects to make it fun in each aspect because you brought all of it together to make it fun. It's like, certain subjects we could do music here and there. But yeah, maybe if we apply that to all things in life that
Yeah,
that we see as hard has to be done. I'm gonna ponder that.
yeah, why not? I mean, that's how
Yeah.
we first learned the alphabet, right? Like
Right.
music and learning have been synonymous forever. We learned that as
Yeah.
a song, you know?
Yeah. So what do you think needs to happen to make STEAM hip hop mainstream? Because it is very necessary.
No, it is. It is. I think we're seeing a shift in hip hop culture right now. And we're happy to be a part of it. Olay Entertainment is definitely one of the leading family entertainment brands.
Okay.
I don't even use like the word conscious or anything like that, but it's positive music, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And this is music where I don't cuss in my music and it's all factual. Like these are things that you can research and look up yourself when we're talking about the steam hip hop part of it.
Mhm.
And I think hip hop is in a weird place right now where it's shifting from the listeners actually do want more substantive music. Like I think as people are getting smarter and our collective consciousness is raising, I think
Yeah.
that is showing up in the music. So the same things that were cool, a few years ago, not as cool anymore,
Yeah.
or at least they're expecting a different delivery. We want something new, something that we haven't heard.
Yeah.
So I think now is the perfect time for like steam hip hop and other newer styles within hip hop, that are getting some shine. And I think it's the young people, right? Those are the
Yeah.
ones that are gonna take this genre and just hip hop in general to the next level, then put in their flavor, their spin on it. Um, and of course, we're working with students from different cultures around the world. So when you add in that element,
Mhm.
right, of something being expressed from a student in South Africa, they're going to have a whole different spin on it than,
Yeah.
one of our students from DC that's like, yo, I'm making this record about, what I learned from the Adams joint, right? Or like they're expressing it through their lens, and I think that is gonna help it continue to grow, and be able to connect with so many more people, and that's the whole point, you know.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to that kid that's aspiring to combine what they know with their passion? Like how you did from going from engineering to combining it with music. What advice would you
Mhm.
give them?
Yeah, it's not easy. I think avoiding what what tripped me up. I took the long road, you know, and trying to not have to do all of the work that was involved, but I never sugarcoated. Like I said, nobody told me how hard engineering school was gonna be. But once I knew and decided to finish, then at that point it was on me. So I would say that it's definitely possible. That's the best thing about it. Uh,
Yes.
and we live in a time now where you don't have to be just one thing. Like
Mhm.
you can be multiple things if you are able to put in the time and the work that it takes to develop those skill sets, you know. So if we're talking about a kid, and I've met quite a few now that are interested in engineering, right, or some type of STEAM industry, but also have a gift in music, and they're like, yo, I still want to actually do music as
Mm.
well. And I think it's very, I'm living proof, obviously. I think it's very doable. Um, one of the key things that has helped me that I also share too is if you're not really sure about what your purpose is or what direction you're supposed to be moving, make sure that you find a way to help somebody. If
Mm.
you can be helpful, then you can also be in position to help yourself figure out what that is, you know,
Yeah.
and that's given me some of the best opportunities that I've had just by me being willing and able to be of service and to help other people. Hence, you know, part of why the Swaliga Foundation was even started in the first place.
Yeah.
So, um, to that kid or to anybody listening, I think as you're thinking about your plan and your path for your life, just remember those three things. One, it's definitely possible to be able to do something that you love for a living.
Mm.
Like that is very real. That is a reality. You know, and
Yeah.
two, you don't have to limit it, right? You don't have to limit it to just one thing. I think if you're able to, um, again, it's about the work that you put in for those skill sets to develop and you to be able to actually be that because you still got to be it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So make sure that that's in alignment. But again, the last thing is being of service, figuring out how you can help. Every opportunity isn't tied to you getting paid or a dollar.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's about you being present, right? And being useful. So I would just encourage anybody that's thinking about that to really put those things into practice.
I love that. And I love that they have a model. Like you're showing that it's possible and you saying it's not hard. So they could see all your success and, all you've done, your tours and your collaborations. But no, you put in the work.
Definitely.
And so, yes, thank you for saying yes to both of your passions and combining them so other people can also see that they can, they don't have any limits. So I love that.
Yeah.
How do you manage to balance your roles as an artist, engineer, mentor, activist, along with all your other roles, friend, all your many roles? How do you manage to balance them?
Yeah, it's tough. I won't lie to you, it's definitely tough. And a new one just added. I'm an uncle now.
Oh,
Um,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you, thank you.
Oh,
Like I said, these are all roles that I take very serious, you know, and it's a lot to balance it is a lot. I would say one of the things that I've done as recently as this year is just be a lot more intentional about carving out time for specific things. I used to just kind of like, all right, I'm locked in. I'm working like 18-hour days. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm
mm,
here. I'm gonna go there. Just doing all the things, which worked for a while, but it wasn't sustainable, you know. And I think one of the things that I had to learn is to just be a lot more, one, a lot more stingy with my time or my tea, as we say.
okay.
Um,
Mhm.
Yeah, the new record we just dropped. Time, energy, and attention. Those are the three
Mm,
most important things
right.
that we have, that is our currency, that we have to decide how we're going to spend it. So I got a lot more stingy with my tea, and then more intentional, meaning like I have days where I'm specifically working on the foundation and building what we're growing here in DC, and then I have another day where I'm focused on our business in Africa. Then I have another day that is strictly music, right? We started doing content Thursdays
Okay.
here in the stew out of LA. And that's part of, just kind of being able to stay focused. Cause now what happens, you look up after a year of Thursdays, you're able to now track your progress, right? And I'm
Mhm.
not as all over the place as I once was. Cause I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff. And I
Yeah.
know we all have so many different responsibilities and stuff pulling on us that it can be tough. But I think again, what has also helped me is that um, as I'm being more intentional, I'm seeing the alignment in these things too. Like it's
Mm.
not like night and day of, what I'm doing. I figured out a way for it to all kind of feed into each other, right? And that's helping the maximum growth because we have a limited amount of tea, so we got to make sure
Yeah.
we maximize it.
Yeah, I know that's good. This year I've been for sure intentional because I feel like I don't know what I was doing in life before, but time was just passing. And then it's like friendships were diminishing. Time with kids wasn't as much as it should be. Time with husband. I'm like, no, we pulling out a calendar, putting everything on the calendar. Husband time, family time, extended family time. Like everything goes on the calendar now. So I don't even know what was happening before, how life was running. But yeah, intentionality is everything.
Have to.
Yes. So you have performed at some historic venues like the Kennedy Center in DC, the Soweto Theater in South Africa. What was your most memorable performance? It doesn't have to be from those two.
Yeah, no, that's a tough one. I would have to say I gotta mention two, but I'm gonna give you my
Okay.
most memorable. I think for me, it's performing at Eldormain High School in South Africa. It's like those performances that may not seem like the biggest deal, but it's really for the ones that were there, like for the people that got
Mhm.
to experience it. It was a big deal for them, so that makes it special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that.
That was one of those type of shows, and then it's like, yo, like we're here in South Africa, so that was dope. But I would say overall, in general, just kind of looking back at some of the places I've been able to perform in my career, and I would say the Smithsonian being we brought the first hip hop STEAM show to the Smithsonian African American Museum, and we invited the legendary UCB go-go band to perform there too. So that was like the first time that a go-go band was there inside the Smithsonian at the
Mhm.
African American Museum. So it was a historic moment, but it was just a great day, and just the way that everything came together, and to get a different audience into the Smithsonian, right? Because a lot of people from
Yeah.
the city that and I'm specifically talking about a lot of our students that live on the south side or southeast, northeast,
Mhm.
that don't necessarily go to the museums or haven't been to the Smithsonian and they live here. So seeing a different audience in the museum, seeing everybody come together, and the music just being amazing and creating that vibe, that was definitely one of the most memorable performances. That was a special day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see how those you said the ones that don't really get as much recognition, it's like you're being pulled back to your core, like, why you do it. So I
Yeah.
could definitely understand, the big stages, it's like, it's cool, but here, this is what we doing. This is what we here for.
That's
So
the
no,
one.
I feel that, yeah. So
Yeah.
back to the Smithsonian. So your latest Steam the Block series, the Book of Nature album, reconnects listeners with nature through STEAM hip hop, blending science, technology, engineering, arts, and math into music. You partner with the Smithsonian, National Museum of Natural History.
Yeah.
And this project teaches science through music, which debuted on the spring equinox, March 20th, 23. I just have to know, how did this partnership come about? And how was that collaborative process for the Book of Nature project?
Yeah, great question. The quick answer is God. I mean, a
Mm.
lot of this stuff just
Mhm. Listen,
I can't
guys.
even, even if I tried, couldn't make it up. Um, but this album, so the first steam hip hop album that I did was called Book of Revolution. So that gets into like physical science, like stuff moving, rockets, motion, all of that type of info. And then with this joint, we're getting into natural science. So Steam the Block Book of Nature, I started with this song I did called Atoms. Let's get to the point of the matter. Yes, we are made up of atoms, though clearly we're not the same. So like it breaks down molecular science and then just goes from there. Everything from the ocean to the water cycle, how we're made up of water, how our bodies work, like a lot of these different things that we know or have heard of, but it
Mhm.
really kind of brings it all together. And I think that's one of the dope things about it. So by the time we had reached out to the Smithsonian, I had released a song called Big Blue Ocean, which basically talks about the different ocean basins, and kind of like explains how the ocean works. Because again, this is like it makes up three-fourths of the planet, right? Like we know
Mhm.
about it, like, yeah, it's just kind of over there, but this joint is actually keeping us alive, like those types of connections. So by the time we talked to the Smithsonian, they loved it. And again, this being another way to express some of the information that they're trying to express, but
Right.
we're doing it through hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So there's always a connection. And that's a nugget for anybody that whether you're an artist or whether you have a business, as you're looking at partnerships, there's always a win-win out there for your business or whatever you're trying to do. And if you're having a piece that they don't have, those are the best situations because then
Mhm.
it's a win-win. And that's what we found with the Smithsonian. They loved it. They loved the song The Ocean. Um, and actually inspired a few more songs on the album. And then we did they do this annual teacher night, like night at the museum, kind of after
Oh,
hours
yeah.
situation.
I haven't seen that yet.
So yeah, so it was super dope. I did the listening party for Book of Nature there
Oh,
at
wow.
the Natural History Museum. So we had a ball, the teachers loved it. And that was kind of like the start of that partnership. And then what I mentioned with us doing the performance at the African American Museum of History and Culture, they do something called Black Birders Week. So that's when the three, like both Smithsonian museums, myself, Mr. Image, and of course Swaliga and Olay, we did these events in collaboration. So it was super dope to kind of be able to bring that steam hip hop element. And then you got the Smithsonian. So they're like bringing artifacts and all of these other science specimens to kind of highlight some of the stuff we talking about in the album, which is super dope. So it's
Yeah.
been a very exciting collaboration. I think it's new. I think it's different. It's needed right now. And we're looking to get some more exciting things happening with them as we roll out this album too.
Yes, I love that. Definitely needed. Do you know if any of the teachers use it in their curriculum? Have you circled back with them?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So they were the ones that were there at the listening party. They got the first access, the first copies of Book
Okay.
of Nature. So you had like science teachers, biology teachers, a lot of disciplines, even like, and that's the cool part about it. Why we say STEAM is not just subject specific. So all of the educators that were there got to take it home, play it in their classroom. They've been sharing it with their students. We've been getting amazing feedback. And I think that's one of the dope things about the album too. It's like the information is one thing. Like once kind of realize that, all right, like this is dope. Like I like the beats, I like the flow. I'm definitely dropping bars on that joint.
Mhm.
But then you realize that okay, this is actually like real information. Like this is again things that I can learn and retain. But it goes a level deeper because I actually take the time to um the frequencies in this music are designed to help you like relax. These are things
Mm,
that when you play in the classroom, you can change the energy in the room. And that's what music does
yeah.
essentially. But it does it in a way that it's going to help your students relax. It creates a calm environment. It helps them feel better. And we know music has the power to do that. This is what we see happening in movies, right? Like when you're
Yeah.
watching a scary movie and they play the suspenseful music, then
Yeah.
versus if you're watching like a happy movie or a part is supposed to be funny, it's gonna be bright, it's cheery. Like all of these things
Yeah.
um is what we talk about when we say STEAM hip hop. And I think this is a tool that we want all educators to use, all parents to use. Like play
Yeah.
this for your kids at home. Like not only are you creating this positive energy in this environment for them, but they're gonna start to learn this information, which is actually gonna help them in the future. So it's
Yeah.
yeah.
When I
No,
was having my listening party here by myself to for the interview, I saw, "Oh, my son will be listening to this." He's
yeah,
going to 2nd grade, so I was like, "This is perfect." So that's
love
why I asked, "Have you heard anything back from the teachers?" Because I was like, "Oh, definitely, my son."
yes. Love that. Love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn it up. Yeah, no, we've gotten some great feedback and I'm excited to hear more kind of how people are receiving the music for sure.
Yes, I'll let you know after he listens to it.
Please
Yeah.
do.
So thank you. So let's get into the Steam the Block party. This
Yes.
is the 8th annual, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what is the Steam the Block party and what can attendees look forward to at the event?
Yeah, so as the name suggests, it's a big party. Like this is, kind of our version of block party styles going back to hip hop where you got music, you got food, you got everybody coming together. That's the root of it. Now what makes this unique is that this is the biggest multicultural STEAM event in the world, meaning like not only is it the arts and culture that you're going to get there, but we got some really cool STEAM stuff for you and your fam to check out. Everything from learning about robotics to learning about engineering to learning about how to make beats, how sound frequencies and energies move, right? Giant interactive things that you can do to learn about light and how that affects digital photography,
Mm,
learning how to podcast, like lots of different cool things, virtual reality, cool industries that we want our students to be exposed to and get interested in so they can start to take over and dominate some of these industries.
mm,
And we do it in such a fun way that, like I was saying earlier, the example of the kid in the class, like you don't know that you're
yeah,
learning, right? Like
yeah,
it's like you're like, wait, this is multivariate physics, and it's like, well, yeah, we're just making beats, like this is
yeah.
the environment that we're creating with this block party because we got some of the dopest artists in the city performing. Legendary UCB, shout out to Uptown XO, Pinky Killer Corn, myself, a lot of dope artists that are gonna be doing their thing on the stage, lighting it up, and then of course these amazing Steam stations. Excited for people to really check those out and you get to experience the Steam the Block curriculum. A lot of cool stuff that you probably have never seen before,
Mhm,
and some that you maybe have but just didn't know how it connected. So that's all a part of the fun too. It's just a day where we're gonna have a lot of fun and we're gonna celebrate our students and the young people as we set the tone for this upcoming school year. That's another
mhm,
important part of why we're doing this event, right? Our city is under attack. We're dealing with a lot of stuff globally. There's just a lot going on in the
mhm,
world right now. But at the same time, we are saying that this school year is going to be the best one yet. And
mhm,
we're just encouraging our young people in new and different ways. And we're doing that through STEAM education because we are confident that they have the skills and the creativity that they're going to be successful. And we just going to do our part to make sure that they get there.
I love that. Well, me and the entire family will be there. So
Yes,
I'm excited. And I didn't know the little aspect about, encouraging them for the upcoming school year. So I
yeah.
need that for my son because he is dreading going back to school. So yes,
Listen, I
we're
I
really
remember
excited.
those days. Thank you. No, I'm excited too. That I'm excited y'all are gonna be there. Y'all gonna have an amazing time.
Oh, I
Uh,
know we are.
but
Yeah.
I remember that too. Like, who was excited to go back to school? Like, that wasn't a
He
thing.
was, like, really dreading it, though. I don't remember that I was that upset. I don't know. Maybe I just don't remember. I blocked it out maybe.
That's
But
possible.
he's like, "Mommy, please don't make me go back to school."
Oh
And he
wow.
does very well in school, so I don't know. So maybe, seeing all the fun ways that he can learn
Yes.
will make him not dread it so much.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
School in its original form wasn't meant to be fun. But that's why we do this Steam the Block party. That's why Swaliga does the programs that we do is to help kind of put a different spin on it. Even as we talk about not even just school, but math and science, right? Like those aren't
Mhm.
fun things. Usually when we talk
Yeah,
about having fun, you're not talking about math and science. So
exactly.
that's yeah, that's part of what we're working to do is just kind of program our thinking around it because it actually can be fun, you know.
Yeah, and you've taught me a lot about that because I never would have thought to put it all together. It's like, okay, time to have fun, time to learn. But
Yeah,
we could have fun all the time and learn. So yeah, thank you for teaching our kids that for sure.
most definitely.
So, what advice would you give to someone who is struggling to find their passion or purpose?
Mm, that is a tough one because that's something that we got to figure out for ourselves. Like you
Yeah.
can't tell somebody what their purpose is. What I will say is that one of the things that has helped me and anybody that hears this is if you're looking for your passion or your purpose, that's step number one, because a lot of people aren't even looking,
Yeah.
don't understand the benefit of just how powerful that is once you realize that for yourself. But you get around people that are walking in their purpose. That's the first step, because
Mhm.
we are a product of the people that we spend the most time with. So make sure that you're around people that are passionate about something, like they're
Yeah.
excited about something, or they're blessed enough to have found their purpose and they're operating in it, no matter what it is, right? It
Yeah.
could be making people laugh, right? I don't know if they're actively pursuing that or they're doing something that is helping them reach their highest potential. Those are the types of people that you want to be around because 9 times out of 10, that's going to rub off on you and you're going to be in the right position to be able to find that out for yourself, whether you know it or not. So that's step number one. And then I would just say pay attention to the things that you do that bring you joy. Like
Mhm.
what things do you do or that you look forward to that you're not required to do, right? Like
Mhm.
not stuff that you have to be told or reminded to do. It's like, no, I want to do this. You know what I mean? Like those things are usually related to your purpose and your passion in some way.
Yeah.
Uh, whether we realize it or not. And it may not be something that you've heard of, right? Like
Mhm.
I tell our students that all the time, even about a lot of these careers in these STEAM industries. Some of them haven't even been invented yet, and they're waiting for you to take this thing and combine this thing and make something that nobody's never heard of, right? Like
Like
when
steam
I
hip hop.
exactly, I'm just
Yeah.
about to say, like when I started, there was no STEAM educators, there was no STEAM hip hop. That it
Mhm.
wasn't a thing. But those are two very important things that have now
Yeah.
helped a lot of people. So we're waiting for you all to figure out what that is. Um, there's an exercise. I don't know if we have time to go through it right now, but the point of the exercise is to get people to think about what that thing is, right? When we talk about purpose or when we talk about passion, a lot of times it's even hard to understand what that means, especially if
Mhm.
you're trying to figure it out for yourself of what that looks like. So one of the
I have
things
time if you have time. Just you don't have to cut it short if you don't want to.
okay, cool, cool.
Okay.
I'll focus on the main point, which is the
Okay.
questions that we ask, because that really gets you thinking about what that looks like. So these are the 4 questions, super important. What you do is you set up remember like a Venn diagram where
Yeah.
like circles intersect in the middle.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
imagine that two intersecting circles. And then on top of that, so you have 4 circles total. So there's another 2 circles that are all intersecting in the middle, right? 4 circles all intersecting in the middle. And in each of those circles, we ask a question and we just write down notes that we think are our answers to that question because it's different for every person.
Yeah.
So the first question is, what are you good at?
Hmm.
Very simple question. What you good at? That you whatever that means for you, you write that down, answer that in that circle. What are you good at? The next question, what can you get paid to do? What can you get paid to do? You get paid to do a lot of things,
Hmm.
but what can you get paid to do? What will people
Right.
pay you money to do, right? So then, of course, you list that, fill that part out. Um, and then there's another question we ask that says, what do you love to do?
Hmm.
That's different from the other two. Just to
Yeah.
recap, what you good at, what can you get paid to do, and what do you love to do? Those are 3 different questions. So there are things that we love to do that we enjoy, some that we might not get paid to do yet, right? So
Yeah. Yep.
answer that. And then the last question, so those are the first 3. The last question is, what does the world need? What does the world need?
Mm.
World needs a lot of things, but
Mm. That's a good
specific
one.
as you're thinking about it and filling it out, what does the world need? So those 4 questions, I think, are just a great way to help people organize their thoughts, and it really gets us thinking. I do this exercise often, but it really gets us thinking because what happens is you fill it out and you list things, and then you'll start to see certain similarities, right? And some things
Mhm.
may overlap. So that's what I would suggest to anybody that is thinking about what their purpose could be or trying to figure out what they're passionate about or something that they can do. That would be a great first step, is to do that exercise.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this back and do that when we're done because that's good. I'm always curious to hear people's perspective on this because for a long time I struggled to find. I don't even know if I found it fully yet, but I have a good grasp on it. But because I followed my parents' ideas up until after college, so when I was out of college, I was like, well, what do I like to do? And it was always that aspect of money. So I like what you said earlier. Take away money and how can you help people? So I
Yes,
had to stop focusing on what Imma get paid to do with what I'm good at. I mean, which is should be the goal in the end, but trying to figure out your purpose or passion, like, take away money for a minute. What were you born to do on
there
this
you go.
earth? So, yeah, I always love to hear different perspectives, and I'm still learning, so thank you for that diagram thing because I will definitely be
Yeah.
trying that.
No, it helps. Like I said, I still use it myself because it's what you said. Our purpose, like finding it is a blessing
Yeah.
and it's rare, but it evolves and it grows from there,
Yeah.
right? Like I thought that my purpose was just to do music. Like I'm gonna make music. And then it grew and evolved into this whole steam hip hop thing, right? So as we grow as people, that's an ongoing journey. Like it's a marathon for sure.
Yeah, you feel this type of joy and peace that well, I didn't even know was possible from finding your purpose and your passion. So I truly pray everyone finds that or even
Definitely.
gets a little glimpse of it or something.
Definitely. No, that's why it's so important. It is definitely a very unique feeling and a peace
Yeah,
and a joy that you have,
yeah,
right? Like it really does bring joy. It's a blessing to be able to do something that you love to do. That you're operating in as your purpose. So
yeah,
yeah, I encourage everybody to do that work. It's worth it for sure.
yes. So last question I want to ask you. How would you define prosperity and do you consider yourself prosperous?
Yes, I am very prosperous. I'm extremely wealthy. I don't talk about
Right.
it a lot, but I am. And yeah, to me, that starts with me being happy within
Mhm.
myself. I think that's like a different level of prosperity that we don't talk about a
Yeah.
lot. And there are so many different types. Obviously, money, we need money, it's a tool, right? It's some sort of display or like a result of success. But when you talk about prosperity, for me, is being able to, yeah, being able to travel different parts of the world and have, um, the type of love that we get for the work that I'm doing, and for people genuinely like supporting, and being able to, wake up and do music, right? Like all of
Mhm.
these things are like blessings that I don't take for granted, and it makes me feel very prosperous. But that's been the goal, right? And I tell people that all the time. You got to define success for yourself.
Yeah.
But for me, it starts with happiness. Like I just like most people know, or I hope you know at this point, you can have all the money in the world and still be miserable. Like that's
Yep.
not
And I
that,
like how you said money is the result of your success. That's
uh,
not the success, it's what comes after the success.
yeah, it's a
Mhm.
result. That's the byproduct. The money shows up, right? You look around, the money shows up, but it's being able to operate at a high level, in your discipline, in your purpose, like that is what
Mhm.
generates that success. And being able to do that is a blessing. So,
Absolutely. And I
yeah.
had to unlearn that because I feel like we all have to unlearn that
Yeah.
money, is not the goal. The helping is the goal, and the money will come from you operating in your purpose. So yeah.
And it seems backwards, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a mind trick because we're all programmed to think
Yep.
that it's thrown in our faces since we're young. Like,
Yep.
make sure you get a job, get you some money, get you a check,
Some good benefit.
get you those benefits. You know what I'm saying? Get you a
Yes.
401k. Like, it's
Yes.
drilled into our mind. And
Yeah.
then we hearing it in the music, chase a bag, chase a check,
Uh-huh.
get the bag. Like we're constantly bombarded with it. And we really gotta remind ourselves sometimes, like, yeah, like that's cool, but the ultimate is, these
Yeah, that
other
inner peace.
intangible things that you can't really buy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like I could ask you questions all day, but how can listeners get involved or support the Swaliga Foundation or any other initiatives that you have going on?
Yeah, so number one, tap in with us. Go to our website, swaligafoundation.org, SWALIGA foundation.org, see what we up to, and see how you can literally impact the world. Like when you tap in with Swaliga, you get to directly be involved with impacting youth and families in DC and in different parts of the world. So I would say start there. You can sign up to receive info about some programs and workshops and events we have coming up. And then, of course, follow us on the gram at Tribe Swaliga. You can stay tapped in there, show support, spread the word about our mission, about some of the things that we're doing. That always makes a big difference. And then you can donate. Like people can directly donate. Swaliga is a 501c3 nonprofit, tax exempt. So any donation, tax deductible, you can do that pretty easily from our website, and you can trust that it goes directly towards this mission of empowering these young people, which is what we're all about. And then MI Music, Mr. Image. You can go to mrimage.com and mrimagmusic.com and get all of the latest music there. Olent.com, Olent.com. See all the videos, all of the music. We put it there first before it goes on streaming. We do put it on
Oh,
streaming, but we live in the age of the independent artist. So come directly to the source. You get it here first. So all of that new steam hip hop, the new steam hip hop, definitely gonna want to go directly to the source. Then it goes on streaming. And of course, you can follow me on IG at Mr. Image Music and stay connected there. So yeah, those are a few of the ways.
and we also forgot to mention the Steam the Block party.
August the 10th,
Thank
12
you.
p.m. at the Entertainment and Sports Arena. We're gonna be on the south side. Come rock with us. It's gonna be a ball. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm excited about it.
Yes. Is there an end date for registration?
No, you do.
Okay.
It is absolutely free, but you do got
Mhm.
to register. You can register at the door,
Okay.
but highly recommended to register before, just to make sure we don't hit capacity or anything like that. And yeah, you can register directly on our website, swaligafoundation.org. Again, it's absolutely free. So one of the things that we do, especially with our youth and our families and our folks around the world, we say, and if you rocking with the tribe, say Swaliga, baby.
Swaliga, baby. I told you
Yeah,
I had my practice before too.
there we go. That's what we talking about. Love it, love it.
Yeah, but we will see you on Saturday. So excited, the whole fam.
Awesome. I'm excited to see y'all. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I know it.